Welcome to the Planning for Life podcast with certified financial planner professional Russell Jacobs and financial life advisor Carl Coolidge. Carl and Russell will share creative strategies and ideas for overcoming challenges in your personal and financial life. Inevitably, life happens, and we will empower you to reach your destination. Thanks for joining us. Now, on to the show.
Good afternoon and welcome to today's Jacobs, Coolidge & Company Planning for Life podcast. I'm Russell Jacobs, one of the founding partners here at Jacobs, Coolidge & Company, and today I'll be interviewing entrepreneur, writer of several books, and attorney Peter Strauss. Peter, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Russell. Good to be with you here today. I appreciate you inviting me on.
Well, glad we could get it together with all the calendars involved. I appreciate your time. Let's begin our podcast today, Peter, with you sharing with our listeners about how your career came about.
That's a great way to start this, Russell. So my career is often referred to as the accidental career. It's been a series of eventful opportunities and experiences that have kind of helped frame things out. And the building block really started back in 2000. I was actually in New York City during the 9/11 terrorist attacks. That led me to kind of evaluate where I was and where I wanted to go, and ultimately led me to law school. Not so much to become a practicing attorney, but to obtain a knowledge base that I thought would be applicable in a variety of different settings, and ultimately give me kind of freedom to pursue a number of different career opportunities. From law school, I kind of became attracted to the estate planning, tax, and international trust sector, and went on and obtained a master's in estate and tax planning from University of Miami, and then ultimately ended up in Hilton Head, South Carolina, where I thought I would spend the bulk of my career doing estate planning. But of course, upon taking my first job here, I realized that the traditional practice of law wasn't really in the cards for me, so to speak. Yeah, after law school and graduate school, I started the career in kind of the traditional as an associate attorney, but quickly realized that I didn't enjoy it. And so upon being offered partnership, I promptly quit my job and started my own firm the very next day, myself and an automated secretary. And that's kind of how we're off and running, so to speak.
So you went from New York to Miami to Hilton Head. That's quite a far cry and a different demographic, I'll say. I think how has that turned out for you?
Well, diversity is what the spice of life, I guess. So might as well try them all, I guess. No, I enjoyed it. Different time periods in life have led me to different cities, and at certain points it was the actual location that was the guiding piece, and at certain points it was the actual educational component that was the guiding principle. But certainly I've enjoyed living in a number of different places and having a number of different experiences.
I guess as a family man with several children, young children, Hilton Head gives you kind of an opportunity to have the family vibe in a nice way.
Yeah, I think, initially what I wanted to do was work in a place where people retired or vacationed, and I thought that would be just the greatest. It certainly has proven to be a great place to call home. It's also proven to be quite challenging in the business community, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. Certainly enjoy it.
Yeah, so meaning you have to travel quite a bit. I understand that. So let's talk about from tax attorney to attorney focusing on the design and build and then management of captive insurance companies. How did you end up in that space? And tell us a little bit about the captive.
Sure. So captives, for those that are unfamiliar, are private insurance companies that are owned by the business or owners of the business and designed to ensure the risk of that particular business or multiple businesses. And I actually got into the space by telling clients to avoid the captive space. It appeared to me at the time to be too good to be true, and then pressed to kind of provide some basis and some real understanding as to why they were too good to be true. Ultimate led me to the opposite understanding, that they weren't too good to be true, that there was something kind of fascinating about them. And so at the beginning, we were just a firm that focused on the establishment of captives. And after a number of years, we ultimately got into running the day-to-day operations of the captives, and have been doing that for a number of years now, and quite pleased with it. It's a lot of fun.
And would you say that that's really your focus now?
Yeah, I think we are soon to launch. We're rebranding. We run a law firm. We run a captive insurance company platform. We run a management platform. We have numerous insurance businesses that we operate, and then a number of business services. And so we're rebranding everything under Strauss Global, which will go live in the next probably 10 days or so. And the idea is to be kind of a central point for high net worth business owners to focus on everything from estate and asset protection planning to risk mitigation and management, captive insurance, family office valuations, and so on. And I think the focal point certainly is the captive insurance company, from the standpoint of when we're working with businesses that are in the middle of their earlier to the middle of their life cycle. We understand the risk associated with the business. It allows for a number of other opportunities to plan alongside the clients. It's certainly something that typically starts the engagement, but we hope isn't the end of the engagement.
Interesting. So let's talk about that's quite an evolution from law practice to what you just described with Strauss Global. Let's talk about your why. I mean, what drives you to do all this, to kind of just really just keep things going? I'm sure you're not working a typical 40-hour work week.
I think they say this is the best quote I've seen in a while, Russell. You can borrow it if you'd like. It's a true entrepreneur would work 60 hours to avoid a 40-hour work week. So no, I definitely don't work 40-hour work weeks, any longer. I don't know. I have a passion for working with, with businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs. I like helping people evolve, into kind of the best version of themselves. And, as I say, success begets success. And so the more often, the more we get involved and the more we get to do, kind of the more you want to do. And so for me, it's not really, I don't consider it a job. I really don't even consider it a career. I just consider it life. I enjoy, just seeing how much we can do and what we can become. That to me that's the exciting and kind of, enriching part of it.
Well, I like the sound of that. I understand the passion that you apply toward, and I feel like we at Jacobs Coolidge Company are that same way. Then you don't feel like it's a job. You're kind of on a mission to see how successful you can be with your concept or your mission. In fact, I had lunch with someone today, and I asked him if he really enjoyed his career. He said, well, it helped him provide for his family. He wasn't passionate about it. I felt like that was sad. So I understand that exactly. So with all this going on, Strauss Global, I understand you just moved into a new campus or in the process of that. How do you stay focused?
Oh, goodness. That's a great question. I'm very much, there are linear people out there who, if you give them a list of items to look at, 1 to 10, they'll start at 1 and they'll finish at 10. For me, if you gave me a list, I'm going to focus on what's the most interesting to me. So staying focused easy is as long as I have enough tasks in front of me that are of interest. If they're not, then my focus is certainly gone, and I'll have trouble with it. So I try to surround myself with a really good team, and I try to focus on the things that I do best, and then allow other people to take over, in the areas and opportunities that they're, more well suited, I would say, than I am.
So are you saying team helps you stay focused because when you lose focus, your team puts you back in line?
I would say they are a huge addition from the standpoint of keeping me focused. Absolutely.
That's good. Yeah,
Couldn't do more for
none of us do it alone. That's for sure.
that. That's right.
So talk about, what do you think the best life and career decisions have been so far? Because I know you've had this interesting and divergent path. And how do you make these decisions?
Well, I think, we laugh about it internally. We refer to it as the accidental life. For me, I think if I, were to think about it, I would think that, one of the best decisions I ever made was to not really make a decision from the standpoint of, allowing myself the opportunity to try new things and to, put myself out there and then just relax and see where things take you. And so some advice my father gave me a long time ago was, if you're good at what you do, then the money will follow. And so don't worry about that. And not that that's something that you should just not be concerned with at all, but from the standpoint of, your early years, your 20s should be, filled with opportunity. And I think as you start to build a career out from there, once you ultimately decide what it is that you want to focus on, if you keep an open door and an open mind to things, then, the opportunities you present yourself and then those around you continue to kind of unveil, for you. So that's what I think probably the best advice I ever did was just to be open to new and different experiences.
All right. And I know we've talked about your success and how far you've come since you started this journey, but let's kind of turn it around a little bit and talk about the biggest mistakes you've made and how you've learned from them on this road to success that you're experiencing.
Oh, great question. It's a great question. Certainly I've had some mistakes. The first college I ever attended, I was thrown out of, but I used that as motivation to kind of realign myself and focus on, how to improve and never make that mistake again. So I would say that, we could all look back, every business owner does, the things that we could do better, whether it's, purchasing the right software package to surrounding yourself with the right person. I try not to dwell on mistakes too much. I try to focus more on, how do we learn and grow from it and move forward. So that's probably more of my focus.
Okay. Well, as an entrepreneur working 60 hours so you don't have to work 40, I'm sure there are many other entrepreneurs out there or attorneys, business owners. If you were going to share a piece of advice with that type of individual, what would it be?
Oh, great question. I think have a plan and stick with your plan. That's it's one thing to say that you've got, a whole bunch of accidental circumstances. And that's true to an extent, and it may sound odd to say stick to the plan, but what I mean by that is, once you kind of set your mind to your course, you really have to stay that course. And you owe it to yourself and to those around you that, that you just commit to it and you don't stop until the job is done. And that's something that reverberates throughout the office every day is the thought that, we tell everybody we'll hit the ground when it's time to start the project and we won't leave until it's done. And I think that the commitment to seeing something through is certainly something that will be the difference maker between, being successful and not being successful.
Okay. And why don't you tell us, I haven't seen it yet, but I understand you have a new facility. Have you moved in yet or are you?
We have not moved in yet. We are slated to move in, I believe, first week of June now. So we're very close. Today they were striping the parking lot. I think that's the last item on the list to do. So we'll get our certificates of occupancy and look forward to this. It's been about a 3.5 year project, and we've got a lot of anxious individuals waiting to to get over there and move forward.
And then what have you built there? What will you be moving into?
We actually got approval from the town. We ultimately decided to name it the campus because it's become it's become that kind of project. But we have built literally a campus that's meant to be an immersive experience for the clients, where essentially they can come and stay with us and spend a significant amount of time either individually with their families, with their teams, depending on what it is that they need to work on. And we've got everything from a gym facility to learning labs and creative cubicles, and we've got theater seating and presentation rooms. And essentially, what we wanted to do was create an environment that would encourage people to come and share and to take time out from their business to work on their business. So we're excited to get over there and take part in it.
Well, I'm very interested to hear you say that, because one of the things we always encourage our successful business owners to do is work on it, not just in it, because that's how you create long-term success and sustainability into the future generations. So that's exciting to hear that's coming to fruition. Well, as we wrap this up, Peter, I'd like to thank you for your time, but would you have any parting words of wisdom or something you'd like to share that we haven't touched on?
I think that, I would say, first of all, thanks for having me on today. I love talking about this stuff. I on the theme of what we were talking about, surrounding yourself with the right team, regardless of size, whether it's a 2-person team, and that can be at the home front, or that can be at work, or a 100-person team. It will really be crucial. It's one thing to have good people around you to help you make good decisions and to carry forward, but it's another to share along the way. And one thing I actually tell my kids all the time that it's just not fun if you're not sharing it. So to be able to enjoy it and be part of it and learn from one another is a great thing. So I would say take the appropriate time to surround yourself with the right people. That'll probably be my best advice.
Well, I appreciate that. It's so true. Here at Jacobs Coolidge and Company, it's all about team. And Carl Coolidge and myself have been fortunate to work together now for 22 years. And so thanks again for your time. We appreciate it and look forward to visiting with you again in the future. And for now, I think that's all we have. So thank you for listening to our podcast at Jacobs Coolidge and Company, Planning for Life. And check us out on the web at jacobsandcoolidge.com. And we look forward to hearing from you. Talk to you from the other side of the mic real soon.
Thank you, Russell.
The content is developed from sources believed to be providing accurate information. The information in this material is not intended as tax or legal advice. Please consult legal or tax professionals for specific information regarding your individual situation. The opinions expressed and material provided are for general information and should not be considered a solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security. Russell C. Jacobs III, Carl B. Coolidge, James Jacobs, and William Schwartz are registered representatives of and offer securities, investment advisory, and financial planning services through MML Investor Services, LLC, member SIPC, Supervisory Office, Jacksonville, Florida. Jacobs Coolidge and Company, LLC is not a subsidiary or affiliate of MML Investor Services, LLC, or its affiliated companies.